but he knows that he can play better, and that's as well as he did this past game. There's still a lot more football that he could do. There's still a lot more he needs to do, and he knows that, and he's constantly working, and so he hasn't even reached his full potential yet.
Sure. What when you talk about him growing as a tight end, what kind of things do you talk to him about?
The little things, technique is probably one of the biggest things. And when he knows it too. When his technique is good, obviously he wins, and that's what it's all about: is winning your one-on-one battles, taking advantage of opportunities. In the past, as we all know, there's been a couple opportunities that he should have had and he didn't, and those don't come very often. So you got to take advantage of the ones that do come and build trust with your quarterback, so that he wants to deliver you the ball. And you can see it in this past game. He took advantage of those opportunities, and so they kept coming.
How much have you worked on the blocking end of things? Because you don't want to show, when he obviously is a receiving tight end, but you don't want to show that it's going to always be
well.
Or whatever.
Surprisingly, he's done a phenomenal job in our protection. Some of our biggest runs that we have, he's personneled in it. So he does a great job. He's smart, and when his technique is good, he wins. And that's all. That's really it. If you're smart and you can be a technician, you're gonna win.
See him make a lot of tough catches in
Yep.
traffic. Is that just kind of something that a guy has to have a knack for? Or is that something that can be taught?
It can be taught, but what Tyler has, that's an it factor.
Yeah.
Definitely an it factor. That's something we saw last year and years before, that this guy will go up and get it if he's, feeling confident and healthy, and if he feels it, then he's going to do it, and I'm happy he felt it.
Yeah.
Did you guys draw things up more for him this past week? I know Danny had mentioned that maybe that would be something you guys would be doing.
There's always an emphasis to try to get the ball to our playmakers, and we feel like Tyler obviously he can be a playmaker for us. Obviously the games are different every week. Sometimes you're trying to run the clock out, so you're sticking it to the ground a little bit more, and every game is different. And so, like I talked about earlier, opportunities. We can game plan for him to catch every ball, but we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what coverage we're going to see, and so when it does get thrown your way, when it does draw up, when it does happen the way you drew it up, you just got to make sure you capitalize on that opportunity.
How's he kind of gone through the year? Because I know, coming into the season, a little bit of hype around it, and kind of the fall camp that he had. But has he kind of stayed patient through the season? You think?
I absolutely think the greatest thing about Tyler is that nothing has got to his head. Whenever you tell him he did a good job, it's always thank you. Whenever you tell him he didn't do a good job, he's asking for coaching and how he can get better. And so, highs and lows, I don't see anything different out of him, and I can really appreciate that from the player.
Was getting the ball to the tight end more something you guys emphasized in the bye week? I asked Langsdorff a little bit about that. Was that something you guys did a little extra?
What did Langsdorff say?
I just asked him, what's the plan to get the ball to the tight end, and he said you guys emphasized it in the bye week and leading up to this most recent game.
Then I'm going to agree and say yes. Yeah. Because in my mind, whether it's 2 plays or 20 plays that are designed to get to the tight end, I'm coaching my tail off, making sure that we execute those to perfection. So I don't know the number-wise, but I'm happy that he had a game.
How close are some of the younger guys like Engelhop and Moensen and some of those guys further down?
The biggest part for this position is that you're asked to do a lot, and so there's definitely a learning curve for a lot of guys. Fortunately, those guys have been in the system for a while now, and so they're starting to get past that learning curve, and so I'm excited to see what they bring to the table for us. But for the most part, just making sure we can line up. So.
I know Stoll traveled too. How's he kind of looking in terms of pushing those other guys?
Stoll is amazing, and he pushes those guys every day. It's funny. We everybody in the room acknowledges that Stoll is going to be a great tight end, and he is really good. His physical skill set and everything that he does. Like I said earlier, it's a big playbook, and there's a lot of learning. And so we get him in here and there. We've narrowed down. Got some small packages for him, but Stoll is a dang good player.
How is it for you, kind of running that room where you've got Ketter and Hoppus over here, and you've got this large group of really young guys who haven't played? What kind of challenge is that for you, bringing those guys along?
It's fun. Me personally, as a coach, I like to address things towards the guys that know nothing, because even the veterans, I may make a coaching point to the young guys that the veterans may have forgot or never heard. And so hitting those little finer details are great for the older guys. And what's really nice about the dynamic is that the older guys help the young guys out so much. I'll walk into the room before the meeting even starts, and those guys are sitting down watching film with them. So they're really proactive that way, and it's nice to see.
Do you have,
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have a favorite